Welcome to the deep dive. We really try to get into the heart of these complex stories, pull out what matters for you. And today, well, we're diving into that whirlwind from just a few days ago. The speculation, the brief disappearance, and then that very public reemergence of former President Trump. It just captivated everyone online. So our mission here is to unpack how all these different pieces of events, this one really striking image, couple of days of quiet, how they all sort of crash together to create this huge online story. And maybe what that tells us about, how information flows these days. We've got our sources lined up to figure out what actually happened and maybe more importantly, why it hit such a nerve and what a turnaround it was. I mean, seriously, you go from all this online chatter, people speculating he might have actually died, to bam, August 30th. Suddenly there's proof, clear evidence right there, all in just hours. It's a pretty amazing example of how fast these narratives can build up and then just get knocked down.
It really is. And August 30th is key, isn't it? Because that's when public perception just had to shift dramatically, all because of new visual information you just couldn't argue with. It really highlights the sheer power of images in shaping how we see things, especially when rumors have been running completely wild.
Absolutely. Because that's the moment the speculation just stopped, or at least paused. You had cameras right there. Trump leaving the White House, looks casual, smiling. He's got his grandkids, Kai and Spencer, with him, heading out for golf, family time, and he's walking on his own. Okay, maybe a bit stiffly, some reports said that, and that bruise on his hand, the one that kicked things off, still faintly there. But just seeing him out there, moving in front of everyone, it just completely cut against that wild story that had spiraled online.
Oh, definitely. It felt very deliberate, a clear act. You saw outlets like People, The Daily Beast, they immediately called it a calculated move. And honestly, hard to disagree. It seemed perfectly designed to just shut down those death rumors, which by then had gone seriously viral online. It was definitely a strategy,
Yeah.
Control the narrative again with this very visible display of, hey, I'm here, I'm fine, and normalcy.
It is fascinating, though. One picture stops the storm when, ironically, another picture is what started the whole hurricane in the first place.
Yeah.
We always talk about image power, and this is like the perfect bookend example, both sides of it.
You're absolutely right. Before the golf outing picture, there was the bruised photo. Remember that? That single image just went everywhere online, and almost instantly, any real medical context, gone. It just became this fuel for speculation, memes, comparisons, people guessing about his health with zero facts. It sort of turned into a blank slate, didn't it? People could project whatever they wanted onto it, fears, hopes, crazy theories. And that's powerful and honestly kind of dangerous when an image just takes on its own life like that, separate from reality.
Okay, so the bruise photo starts the rumors. And the golf outing photo, Trump smiling, playing grandpa, that's the direct counterattack visually, the counter image.
Yeah, and what's really telling is how both images got treated. Even though they had opposite goals, one sparking worry, the other trying to reassure people online, pick them both apart, frame by frame, intensely. With the bruise photo, it was all about, does this look weak? Is this serious? Then the golf pictures come out, and you see the exact same intense analysis, but now flipped. People on X, for example, jumped right in. Some were like, he still looks weaker. He's moving slower than before. Almost like they were looking for proof for what they already believed.
Filtering it through their own lens.
Exactly. But then others pushed back hard, saying he looked healthy enough to outlast his critics, using it as proof the rumors were nonsense. It just shows so clearly how we tend to see what we want to see in pictures, We project our biases onto them.
But here's where it gets really interesting, I think. This whole thing wasn't just about one or two pictures. It was like a perfect storm. Several things had to smash together at just the right time for this story to really explode online. More complex than just cause and effect.
Totally agree. If you break it down, you had, first off, these very real, visible health signs, things people could actually see. We're talking the bruised hand you mentioned, yeah. Reports of swollen ankles, too. And that earlier diagnosis of CVI.
Chronic venous insufficiency. Right. Affects blood flow, can cause swelling.
Exactly. So those things together, they did kind of create this air of frailty around him. These weren't just rumors. They were things people could point to, things that looked like potential problems, gave the speculation a visual anchor, something that felt medically based, even if the interpretations were maybe off.
But people grab onto those visible things, don't they? They feel solid, real. But then, like you said, you add something vague on top, like political ambiguity. Suddenly that certainty evaporates, and our minds just race to fill in the blanks.
How does a phrase like Vance's terrible tragedy, coming from a VP candidate, create such a potent space for rumors, lets people connect dots that maybe weren't even there? That's such a key part of how misinformation spreads. When official or even semi-official comments are fuzzy, or you can read them multiple ways. They just become accidental fuel. A phrase like terrible tragedy, especially in that charged political air, and with those health worries already floating around, it was like a lightning rod. It let people, maybe not even consciously, connect dots that weren't actually connected.
Turned a bruise on a hand into an internet death watch. But the reality, much simpler, like it often is. Just a few days out of the public eye, then a very public return, very much alive. But that question hangs there, doesn't it? Will the next time he's out of sight trigger the exact same thing all over again? And maybe more importantly for you, how do you personally navigate this constant flood? These online stories that change so fast and often value clicks over truth. Something to definitely mull over after this deep dive.